Murders at Karlov Manor draft season was a fun one here on the channel, and new Karlov Manor draft content has unfortunately come to an end, but that doesn't have to mean that MKM limited content has to end as well. Over the course of this format, I ended up doing 34 total drafts and earning a 7-win trophy in 12 of those drafts, putting my trophy rate at a whopping 35% to go along with my 67% game win rate over the life of the format. So it is now time to close out the Murders at Karlov Manor limited season, as I like to do here on the channel, with a little top 8 of my best drafted decks over the course of the entire format. I have included 8 of the 12 trophy decks to battle it out in a single elimination best of 3 top 8 tournament, and after 7 videos over the course of the next couple of weeks, we will be able to crown what was my best drafted deck in Murders at Karlov Manor. Now, to help me with this tournament, I've enlisted the assistance of longtime friend, viewer, and patron of the channel, George, who will be playing on my alternate account to act as my opponent for each of these 7 matches. And today we will begin the semifinals with me playing the 5-color Good Stuff deck, which took down Rareless Rakdos in our first quarterfinal match. This deck features 5 rares and mythics, and basically has a game plan centered around putting those cards onto the stack. It also runs 2 copies of Case of the Shattered Pact, which is very difficult to get going, but very powerful when it does. Early fixing and defensive speed like Gravestone Strider and Nervous Gardener helps this deck get to the late game and cast cards like Alquist Proft, Vanifar, and Doppelgang to end the game rather quickly. George will be piloting Boring Boros, which was victorious over Black-White Bombs in quarterfinals too. I call it Boring Boros because everyone knows it's the best deck in the format, but that doesn't take away from its potency. It features several disguised creatures like Double Offender at Large, Museum Nightwatch, and Crowd Control Warden, as well as plenty of ways to interact like Shock and Case of the Gateway Express, and it also had its own way to put the opponents away with a copy of Aurelia's Vindicator and an On the Job. Drop a comment down below to let me know which deck you think will come out on top, and I'll see you in the match. Alright, here we are in Semifinals 1, and we are starting on the draw here with 5-color Good Stuff with a risky hand, but I'm keeping it off of the back of Gravestone Strider. We're on the draw, we have Riftburst Hellion in hand as a disguised creature, and any 2 lands lets us cast Vanifar. So I'm keeping the hand. It's obviously very risky, but on the draw I think we're okay, so feels not great now instantly missing 3 in a row. And look at the color spread in our hand. Yeah, this kind of stuff happens. So we'll keep this here. I am recording this audio here post-match commentary style for you all, just so you all are aware how this works. I'm thinking about double blocking in this spot, but I think the Strider is too valuable. I can't really afford to do that. So just got to send it back. Another disguise. And here we go. All right. Come on, land. Nope. Well, these sort of things happen. So we're going to get rid of the Helix because we are wildly far away from casting that. And at least we have land cycling next turn, but we are playing against a Boros deck. And this could be difficult. And once again, Strider is too important to my game plan. I really just can't afford to block here. So I guess we're taking 9? Sure. Hey, we found a land. Is it too late? Probably. So, thinking what to play here, and I think a 3/3 Vigilance blocker is honestly the best we've got going for us. So, that's what I play. And pass it back, and I think I have to plan on blocking the Offender with Inspector and Alquist Proft here, and oh boy, another haste creature. Okay, so my first thought was that, and then I do a little bit of math, and I can actually triple block the youths here and keep 2 of my creatures, which I think is better than losing both creatures here. So that is the route I take, but again, this hand needs all sorts of help. And you know what? this deck is a very, very greedy deck when it comes to the mana base. If it doesn't draw a couple of its fixers, hands like this happen. And I think it's fair for games like this to happen as well, because it just doesn't, it the chance of all the mana bases working out every single time aren't really gonna work in our favor a ton of the time here. So they attack with everything. I have to. I mean, at this point, I've got to double block or I got to block each because that 2/2 could be any number of lethal things. All right, Museum Night Watch does kill it in a way that I can't really interact, unfortunately. So just gotta eat it here. No plays. I'll sack the clue. Draw a non-land. Go to my turn. Draw a non-land. So I don't think there's I mean, we could technically survive by just playing Gossip, blocking the offender, and then taking 3. But man, mana screw happens. But that's why we're playing these matches best of 3 here, just in case games like this happen. You can come back and win 2 in a row here. Because look, they are flooding. It's just, yeah, that should do it. So now they have 2 5-powered attackers. We block, we take 5, and lose game 1 to the Boros deck. So let's see if 5-color good stuff can come back in game 2 here on the play. So we're going to start on the play. We've got, a couple early creatures, Gravestone Strider again, early removal spell, and Extract a Confession. So we'll play Forest, and I'd like you to count with me over the course of this game. There's 1. I think you can see where this is going. So we'll play Strider. They'll play Detective. Ooh, that's not a land. It's nice. So we could play Whipcracker here. We could kill their Detective with Confession. But I think I'm just going to hold up Mutation and try to counter their next play. And then the Strider still does block the Detective. Even if they choose to attack with it, they can still rummage, but... So that would kill our Strider. So I'm going to go ahead and counter that spell here. Be a bit mana efficient. And let's see if they do choose to attack and rummage. Looks like he does. We'll go ahead and block. There's number 2. And now we can play Whipcracker and Extract a Confession here. So get rid of their Rummager, play the Whipcracker, and this is our board. It's all up to the top of our deck at this point. Person of Interest, okay. There's number 3. And by 3, I mean lands off the top of our deck. They do still have attacks with Person of Interest if we want to trade with the Crawl Whipcracker, which at this point I probably just have to do to preserve my life total while I try to find the answer off the top of my deck here. Thinking about it, and I do make the block, so we'll trade Whipcracker for Person of Interest, and need some help off the top. But there's number 4 in a row, not counting Mutation, I guess. Tons of great draws in this deck. There's 5 rares, or 5 mythics and 1 rare, I think, in this deck that we have the potential to find. So there's lots of great things going on. The top deck situation is not the worst spot for this 5-color good stuff deck, especially because we're still at 20. All right, play Case of the Crimson Pulse. Draw 2. Kill the Gravestone Strider, as if we didn't have anything else going on for us here. Play a Mask Maker, and that's their turn. We've got nothing. Okay, here's number 5. Pass it on back. Flip up a 6/6, take 9, and next turn we are dead on board here. So let's see if we can draw our way out of it. How about a land? So obviously this deck, or this game, wasn't the most exciting match that we could have had, but these things happen. That's why we're playing best of 3, and it just so happened to happen twice against us today. So 5-color good stuff goes down to Boring Boros. You can see the updated bracket on your screen now. Boros makes the final against one of the disguise decks, which will be in semifinals 2 tomorrow. Tune back into the channel tomorrow to check out the other semifinal match between the 2 disguise decks, and the winner will be played on Thursday. Thanks for tuning in today, and I'll see you tomorrow for more daily draft tournament content.